love Tupperware, and they'd be great at joining your team. Maybe it was just the starter who gets tossed, but other than that, think of customers that are spending a lot of money on Tupperware and they could be getting 25% off of themselves, and then encourage them to sell. Honestly, usually the scary part is just signing up, just joining. For some people, it's just scary. And once they do that, even if they just sign up for the discount themselves, it gives them past that scary part as a customer. Let them know how awesome they are. Let them know how many things they can earn for free by selling. Honestly, most of our rock stars in this realm of sport did not
You
play
still
with
hear it, or?
honestly, over half of them. I've never like exactly counted, but when I hear people like give us a shout out in the group chat right now if you signed up to sell Tupperware and had no intention of selling. Honestly, a lot of them like made their recruiter. Yep, Stephanie is one of them. A lot of them made their recruiter swear up and down that they would never have to sell. Like almost had to like write it in blood. Like seriously intense. One of mine, Belinda Light, by the time she decided to sell, I was like, okay, stop, hold up. You have to promise to not be mad at me because you made me promise you would have to sell. And now you're telling me you want to sell, and I'm a little afraid you're going to be mad at me later. Like, seriously, some of our biggest rock stars were not going to sell. So don't let that tell you, don't believe them. I mean, if they don't want to sell, that's fine. Don't make them sell. But if they're like they will change their mind. Seriously, we've had it happen so many times that we cannot even count. All right, so I want to show you guys real quick a a video from one of our rock stars, Jennifer. She was going to share live with you guys today and is unable to now, but she did a recording for us so that we can still gain from her wisdom here. So check this out. Hey, good morning, you guys. Welcome over to wherever you are. I am Jennifer, and I'm with the bar director. Janelle asked me to just
If
share
she's
a little things
with the
with
bad
you guys
connection,
tonight. And I picked a
Marcel
couple
ever
topics
fix
that
that
have
light?
been sort of near and dear to my heart this year. So I wanted to talk to you guys about them. And it's really a couple topics that you may say, okay, seriously, again, like we're going to talk about this again. But I feel like these two things are really the foundation of your the first I want to talk to you guys really quickly about the importance of them, how they can make or break your business, things like that. So, why are they important? Well, I can promise you,
Oh, this is
so I
a
picked it
call.
and I can look back at my
recorded.
business.
Um,
You guys have heard me say this before. Like I said, it's the valleys thing.
counts as the call, apparently.
I can look back to the valleys and look at my personal business and look at my parties, and normally it's the lack thereof. I didn't work really hard to post new bookings. Like we've all done it. We've all kind of given up or not maybe pushed as hard as we could have to get those two bookings from every party. But when I look back at my heels, like I'm partying like crazy, and I mean that's my May. Like it was full of parties this month, and it was so much fun. When you're partying, you're selling, and when you're selling, you're growing, and you're having fun. It's not fun when you're not selling, and you're just kind of at this standstill. It's super important as well if you are a leader that you are partying. The person always says, "So those leaders, so those teams, one pack," and it's true as well. So if you're in any sort of leadership, whether it's manager, or director, or whatever, I think it's extra important that you are leading by example. Books are funny things. I started this year. We all had across the board. We can pretty much agree on that. So I started this year like
What was
doing a lot of
that?
reflecting and trying to figure out like, all right, I want this year to be big, and I need a lot of growth, and I am ready. Like I'm tired of leaving money on the table, and I'm tired of not going anywhere after the past year. So I talked to a lot of people and I worked with a lot of people, and
and did like coach. And it all came back to bookings. It all came back to having parties. So I did the gift post, and I went from like 1 or 2 bookings to 10 in a very short span of time. And I was determined with those 10 parties that I was going to make the absolute most out of them, whether it was sales, whether it was recruit, whether it was just getting more parties. I had decided early on, like, even if this party doesn't hit 300 in sales, I'm going to try very hard to at least get 2 bookings. Because where this one wasn't great, the next one to get ready. I did, and I had lots of recruits from that, and I got tons of bookings, and it has grown my business this year. Like, it's so funny looking back to January and looking now almost like we're in June, and it's phenomenal. Like, to look at the difference and of parties and to where it has been not just me but also my team. It's exciting. So if you're like, okay, my business is stuck and I'm in a rut and I can't figure out how to get it going, that's where it's at. You gotta ask everybody. I will ask some people sometimes. I'm like, have you asked all of your female friends that you know who are looking? They'll be like, I've asked a lot of people. I'm like, if you start at A on your friends list, go all the way to Z. Like really, because I've had to do that before. I hate sending messages for parties, by the way. So if you can get 2 bookings off of every booking, that's the way to do it. So you don't have to send out messages all the time. But I've done it. We've all done it, and it gets results. Does it get like maybe it's quicker results, or you get a lot more no's and you get yeses? Yeah, so it's not super fun. But if that's what you need to do, and you want your business to grow, you gotta dig in and you gotta do it. It's so worth it.
Sorry guys, I'm gonna pause real quick because I'm hearing a lot of background noise and we're able to do it while I'm in the video. There we go.
That's kind of how you can go from 0 to hero, so to speak, on your party calendar, and how it's just so important, how it can make or break your business, and that's the honest to goodness truth. It is very important, again, to get the 2 bookings off your party. That a couple of reasons why. There are tons of ideas out there for how to do that. There's scripts you can send, like wording that's already made up. Be sure to ask every single guest that orders with you. Now, this is a little more difficult if you're getting a lot of online orders, but you can still do it. Another good way to do that is group chat with your host. That way, the party guest sees your message. I've also sent out fun messages during parties and said, like, I would send a message out to everybody, and they, of course, are not going to see it unless we're friends, unless they also know how to work their other folder. But I've said in the party, I would go back and post, and I would say, hey guys, check your messages. It's probably in your others folder, but I sent out this super fun deal, and you're going to want to look at it. It literally might be for the party gets a prize. Like, that could be it. But I mean, you want to hype it up a little bit, and you want to do something, you want to follow up. But that's been a fun way to get a few parties as well. There's so many ideas out there. So many. I'm not going to go into those all because they're already out there. Talk to your director, and she can like tag you on this post. And that kind of leads me to recruiting and tying in a few ideas that people on my team have been doing, and I am loving it. So I've got one girl who it makes me laugh because I'm like, this is so genius. Like, okay, all right. So she needed to recruit this month, and she had a bunch of parties. She had parties, and people on her team had parties. So they've worked really hard on recruiting this month, and it's been successful, and it's been fun to watch. She would take an order for a customer, and if that customer ordered the Power Chef, or if they showed interest to order the Fridge Smart, or anything in the kit of value, she would present them of, yeah, I can get an order for you, and here's your total. Or if you would like to sign up as a consultant and get our kit, you'll get all of this fabulous stuff plus Birch March for $15 in May. And then you'll have access to samples and things like that. It's super easy, it's super fun, and we just run a party for you to help get your kit paid off. And that's how she's been recruiting. And I'm not kidding, it makes me laugh because it's worked so many times. One of her consultants signed up for the Power Chef and got the kit to get the Power Chef cheaper, plus all the other stuff, has sold over $2,000 in May. So it works. Like, it's all about looking at things a little bit differently. Like, you may be looking at recruiting and it may be big and it may be scary. To her, she's like, I've got to get this done, and this is kind of a cool way to do it. So why not? Yeah. So all of these people, this is super, super important. Okay. Please hear me if you don't hear anything else. All the people that she's recruiting this way, she's running a party for them. It's a launch party, and it's just a way she presents the offer. All we have to do is just run a party for you. And then later on, if you decide this isn't for you, that's fine, but let's get a party going under you. Because in her eyes, she's like, if I can get a party for them, I'm getting sales under them. They might earn level 1 in Confident Start. They might earn the Say Yes bonus offer. They may get bookings off this party. And how exciting for somebody who never wanted to sell and only wanted a Power Chef or a Birch Mart to now have all these things. And they can choose to run their business. She's going to help them. You would help them, but it's super fun. Will everyone be a success? Absolutely not. No. But that's okay. I think it's a really cool way, and she's seen great success from it. So just a fun way to do that. It's just important as you guys are recruiting, it's so extra important to make sure that your recruits are getting a party under them immediately. You can run it for them as a launch party, or you can, one thing that Janelle had, an idea that she gave me recently, and we've been using it a lot and having good success with it, has been you have your recruit launch party, which you are going to run, and then ask them at the same time, like, hey, do you have a friend that would want to party the same week you are? Maybe you guys have different groups of friends, and you can shadow what I'm doing. You can run your friend's party. I'll run your party. So we'll have 2 parties going under you at the same time. And here's why.
Nice.
Your recruit's launch party might not be a huge success, but your friend's party or the recruit's friend's party, it can be huge. And this is what happened last week with one of these new recruits. Her party was not bad, it just wasn't big. And her friend's party was huge, like massively huge. That was my alarm through the video. So it's super important as Tupperware changed. Super important to get sales under recruits. Since Tupperware has changed their rules on you have to you're automatically active now as a new consultant. So managers are stepping up quicker, which is so much fun, right? You're promoting in the management system quicker. But it's going to be really important, you guys, please make sure that your new recruits are getting sales under them. I don't want Tupperware to come back in 6 months when they look at this and they look back at all the managers that stepped up and there's hardly any sales under these people. We don't want to show them that this wasn't a good idea. We want to show them this was such a great idea, and we still went out and got sales under our new recruits because that's what we wanted to do to new recruits regardless.
Something over there.
Okay, so please remember that as you're recruiting, just make